Hey everyone, we're here with the dudes from Horrenda. They're Irish extreme metal band, heavily influenced by black metal. We're talking about Dioltas. At least that's what I've fucking been listening to all morning. Like honestly,
Uh,
I was listening to the cassette versions because
wow.
it's like a throwback. Like, I'm a kid again, and it sounds like shit. I love it. No, just kidding.
Uh,
So So the band isn't that old. Like I guess the theory about or it started what 2015 and now there's what
yeah.
six of you guys?
Yeah, so about 2015 it started as a solo project, and then over a couple of years we went through like 11 members. 2019, yeah, I know, right? 2019 is when Mark joined and we kind of like clicked together in like a modern lineup.
Mm.
And then we've just been kind of a six piece since last year. So it's really kind of gone from strength to strength in that way. But yeah, it's we're not that old, but it certainly feels that way sometimes.
Yeah. Well, like in terms of a band, like at 10 years, that's really a long time, whether it's a solo project or, you know, all six have been there from the beginning. Like 10 years is a fucking long time in the industry. Like most bands you've got, especially at, the lower levels, you've got what, 3, 4 years, and then everyone's on to something else.
I mean that's why we're kind of lucky. Like obviously, you're factoring in the pandemic, you're factoring in personnel changes, but like realistically, it's been me and Aaron. Like Aaron joined for around the third gig, and he's been there for like 9 years. So it really has been me and Aaron for that length of time. But like you're factoring in the pandemic as well. Like Ireland had one of the longest lockdowns in the world. So yeah, like, but at the same, but even taking that aside, we are all on the same page. We all get on. We're all like really good friends. So I think like once you have that and you all want to do the same thing, you won't have the fracturing because I think what happens in my experience anyway, and Mark, jump in if you want to, but like in any band I've been in, like the fracturing happens from lack of communication and from wanting to do different things because some people want to go off, they have like their job, they can't do it, kids, family, whatever. But if everyone's still on the same page, that's what makes bands last because, any kind of relationship really, if you want different things, it's not going to work out. And luckily, like the six of us, we all want the same thing and we have the same goal.
I agree with Darragh. Like, I mean, this is like for myself, like this is my very first professional band out of anything, which is crazy to kind of say, But so it's like these other 6 years I've joined since I've joined, it's been a journey as well in itself, and it has its
Mhm.
story to tell. So all of the albums that you've been hearing since the Atlas upwards, it has that kind of phase in Horrenda. So the next one could be something, you know, different as well altogether, or something that we've always wanted to go in that direction. So yeah.
That's super cool. Like I like it. I like when bands have like a common sound between the album where you just know, like I know that's, whatever band, Deftones or
Hmm.
Metallica or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
And every album has its own sound and its own story. It's like that's that bookmark in this space and time for where we were and what we wanted to fucking do. And that,
yeah.
I think that's another thing, like as a smaller band, you get to do, well, actually, as any fucking band, when you do what you want to do, the music you want to play, there's a longevity to it. There's
I
not
mean,
it's
I
not,
think
the
that,
time's not finite. Like we have to make it by this time. You know what I mean?
oh,
mm.
absolutely. And you bring up an interesting point. Sorry for interrupting you there, but you hit the nail on the head in a way that you might not have even realized. When we did the Altus, we did it just before the pandemic. We went for like a cleaner sound. And while it was great and it works with like the death metal songs, the actual kind of blacker songs, they just never really felt right. They were too clean. So when we signed with our current label and Brianna gave us an opportunity to kind of re-release this, I'm like, you know what we could do? We could remaster this. So I remastered the album as if you were listening to it on the cassette. I did a cool thing where I put it through a cassette and then I remastered it again. So that gives it that dirt, that really kind of raw feeling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the original The Altus didn't have. And now, when you listen to that with the rest of Horrenda's material, it does kind of slot in because it was always like too clean for us, which it worked in some ways and it really does. Like Nerve Gas, Axe Wound, Doom Tranquility, they all work really well. but the other songs just don't have that dirt to them. And now they really do, and it just kind of slots in really, really well. So, whether you're listening to it on cassette or if you're listening to it on Spotify or Bandcamp, you do get that really interesting experience, which, we haven't actually had. And it fits in now with Think on Your Sins and what came before it. So yeah, man, you actually hit the nail on the head, and you may not even realize you did it.
Well, I mean that's I think that's one of the reasons that I really get into, I guess, more underground bands, because there's not a preconceived, like, we have to have a very specific sound. It's got to be produced a certain way. It's got to be super clean. Or
Mm,
like I want what the I want to hear what the band wants to put out, not
yeah,
what someone at a fucking label says. Hey man, you've got to, we really need to get rid of this song and you need to transition like this and blah blah blah. Like, no, dude, like, it's the band's fucking art. Let's, like,
Mhm.
let the band have that, have the meat of that and do what they fucking want to do.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's some,
Exactly.
corporate jackass going, no, in order to sell 1 million copies, we have to do, it's got to be A, B, C, and then Z will come much later. Like, fuck you, dude. Let's fucking, it's
Mhm.
music. Let's play music.
I mean,
It-
like, sorry, Mark, go on, go for it.
like there's six of us in the band, and we all come from like different backgrounds of music, like with different influences. So we kind of pick out bits of those genres and kind of formulate what we do in the band. Like yesterday, for example, I just kind of sat there with the guitar and just kind of played a riff, and it sounds very groovy and death metally, but that could formulate with all the six of us in the room, and that'll become something even bigger. So
Yeah.
it's all influences across the board of metal. So it's not
Yeah,
just strictly that limited spot. It's like it's all the bands, even all the bands we go to gigs and together and see all these other bands doing what they do. We kind of bounce off that influence quite a lot as well. So
yeah,
it's really cool to see what other bands have been doing lately. Even
yeah.
they started off underground and now look where they are.
Yeah.
But
Where
that's it.
that
Like,
took them.
like our influences, while they're external creatively, they're not like we don't sit down and go, we want to write this kind of song because I'll be honest with you, that doesn't work. Tom, we've tried that. I mean, Mark will tell you, like, there's
Yeah.
been time in between the Altas and Think on Your Sins, you can really kind of hear that change where it took us 2 years to do it because we went through personnel changes, we had different stuff, and we were trying to like write and trying to learn to become a band again after the pandemic. So,
Mm,
when we sat down, we're like, right, how do we write again? It was what Mark was saying, the process of going through, jamming it in the room rather than, our label or our management going, you need this. We're very fortunate in that sense because our current label and our management, they're like, guys, what are you doing? Show us. And then when we do, they're like, that's unreal. So
yeah.
that's the other side of the coin, where they're
Yeah.
jazzed about what we're doing rather than you have to do this. And I think that's an important thing to have for
Yeah. I mean,
creative freedom.
yeah, exactly. It shows that you guys have, like, you have a team behind you that believes in the vision and not making, it's not just a product to put
Mhm.
out there. Where
Absolutely.
they're like, oh, we're gonna sell, 1,000 copies a week or whatever. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Oh, I fucking love that. Like, I'm on board. And I said we were gonna talk about the Altus, and I I I want to talk about it because I'm looking at my notes here, and I've got some standout tracks,
Let's do it. Let's
and
do
you kind
Okay.
of fucking, you already called shit most of them out, like like Axe Wound.
Yeah.
Axe Wound is
Yeah, I
so
found
fucking great, and then Craven, and the going from Craven right into like Doom Tranquility,
Hmm.
like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
that's what I look for in an album, is I look for a couple of songs to transition into each other and like how well they do it. And I fucking think, like, that, as far as that album goes, is like the perfect transition. It's like,
thank you,
fuck
man.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, look, that's unreal. That's really cool to hear. And like the thing about the Altus is, we were lucky in a sense. We had like 4 years to write that album. Mark showed up, added a bunch of bits to it. He added Doom Tranquility and like really fleshed it out. But like even before he joined, we were touring a lot of those songs for like 3 years. So we had an opportunity to really kind of see how they fit, how they didn't fit, how they all kind of came together. So when we went into the studio, we were like, let's just do it. And what was cool is me and Mark actually went in after the album was done, and started
Mm.
producing it with Josh, JSR Audio up in Belfast. He's fantastic. But we actually set in and got like, we were lucky because we had like a day to produce, like a day and a half to actually produce, which you don't normally get because
Right.
studio time's expensive. So we were
Yeah.
actually able to sit down and go, we want this to go into here, here into here, rather than just, try to force it and try to make as quick as possible. So that's why that kind of worked out because we actually had time to sit with it. So we were very fortunate in that sense. But yeah, man, I'm really glad you picked up on that because that's basically what Horrenda was. And even now, when you see us live, whenever we're doing sets, we try to make them an experience. We try to bring our listeners on a journey. Like I know it probably aggravates the guys something fierce where they'll do a set and I'm like, no, it doesn't flow well, and I'll completely rechange the set. And then it actually works because anytime I'm putting that together, I'm like, how can I how can I make that a better experience for the people who are watching us or listening to it?
What a, and that's such an important like aspect that I think a lot of bands take note of,
Mhm.
but maybe some don't really like get into the brass tacks of it. Like especially when you're, live, I don't want it to be like sudden change, like left turn.
Yeah.
No, dude, I want it should absolutely flow the entire time. The listener should never have a fucking break to go, oh,
No silence.
No
I
silence.
No
Noise,
silence,
man.
or when a band, or look, this is no shade to any band that does it, or when they just start talking, it's like, what are you doing? You're taking me
Yeah.
out. Like when you come see a horrendous show, here's what happens: we're fucking drowning you, and we're pulling you up for break, and then we're drowning you again. That's what a horrendous show is, right? So you're not
sweet.
getting a
You guys are
break.
like the fucking Italian mob. Like, you
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Breathe.
up
No,
again.
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what it is. And you don't get a break until the show finishes. And we're all in bits at the end of it. Aaron has jumped out, tried to fight you. There's a pit, broken
Yeah.
noses. That's a
Everything.
horrendous show,
Yeah.
right? And it's because, we design it that way. These songs are aggressive. We give you some breaks, but they're often up. Even on our slow songs, people are like killing each other.
I'm an old fuck. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I want to be on the back wall, just enjoying the show. I don't want to break a fucking hip. Like, nope,
Oh man.
I'm good.
Like
That's
there's
fuck.
some wild stuff. Tom, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos, but our social media we put them up and we appreciate when fans do send in or other bands even send in like footage. It's always crazy because I mean I when my hair is down I can't see shit because I'm blind. So like I don't see anything, but then I look back at the video, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I'm up here.
Yeah, no shit. It's so funny. I used to be the guy that's like, oh, I'm gonna get in the pit, and I went in a pit. Shit, it was probably about 15 years ago, and I blew out my shoulder, caused me to have fucking surgery, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, cool.
No,
Nope, I'm good. Just leave my old ass in the back,
that's fair. That's fair. Safe place to be.
motherfucker. So, since you guys been together, what shows have you played that have just been absolutely mind blowing that you never thought like, oh, we're gonna, we hope to get to this place, but that's like pie in the sky almost.
Oh, Mark, I'll let you
Oh.
jump in a second because I think I know the one you're gonna say, so I'll pick a different
Right.
one.
You go first.
So when you were in London recently playing with Woe and just like the crowd were super into it and we were playing the Blackheart and I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. I never like because Ireland is obviously an island, right? But it is quite a huge jump to the UK. It's not like it's a weird mentality thing. It's an expense, obviously, as well. So the fact that we, did a tour of the UK and we're there regularly and we're doing 2 tours this year, it's just wild. It's crazy to think. And the fact that we're gearing up to play Cosmic Void is even more crazy. So for me, that's my obvious pick. The first time we played London, I was like, damn, this is like really, really cool. Mark.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I like on the same lines as Darragh. I think it was the day after the Black Heart in Camden when we went down to Dalton's. That was also another place we didn't expect to crowd go crazy, and that's all one floor as well, just out to the beach side, and
Mhm.
everybody's just killing each other right in front of our faces. So we're
Mhm.
actually getting in and getting stuck in, and getting involved with the mosh pit just to get everybody driving crazy. And again, just like what Dara said, Cosmic Void was something like came out of nowhere, and it was just a nice surprise to get to play a festival
Yeah.
at that scale. And another thing as well, like the recent one with Siege of Limerick that we played, that was what was unexpected. Like especially we played a newer song as well that we've been recently working on, and the crowd was going nuts. And
Yeah,
that's
like
quite a more of a that was more of a pullback song, but it still is a bit, still has that bit of grit to it.
what's crazy about that is like one thing that hasn't happened is because we don't give breaks. There is a natural break in that song, and there was a
Exactly,
massive
yeah.
pop from the crowd. And
I was just
we're
screaming. I
just
was like,
going
"Whoa, what's
crazy.
going on here?"
But
Yeah,
to
that was one thing as well.
to put that into
Uh,
perspective, like Siege of Limerick is the largest festival in Ireland. It's the largest metal festival in Ireland. It's 3 stages, and we started off playing the third stage, and then we headlined the third stage last time. But around like we never expected, we knew we were on the main stage, but we didn't know where we were going to be. We're like, hopefully we get a decent slot, and he actually gave
mm,
us the headline slot of Siege of Limerick, which if you had told me that when I started this band, I would have been like, "You're fucking crazy. There's no way."
mm.
But man, that was crazy. Like to see that main stage full out with people, it was
Oh
really
yeah,
was amazing. Really was, yeah.
So how
the,
cool
the,
is that to like all that, sorry, Mark,
yeah,
but to see all that work you guys have put into the band and you're
yeah,
fucking getting
yeah.
those
Surreal.
slots, like,
That's something we've kind of recently started to reflect, like over the last few weeks, even
Yeah.
before Siege Limit. Like, lads, we've kind of made it, really, in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
That's
we've
something
we've we've become a real band over recently, you know. But then again, look, what I'll say to that is that's not ego, that's not, whatever. Anyone who's listening who's in a band now who wants to do it, how you do it is one thing. One, just don't become a band. But if you are going to not listen to that, just keep going. Don't stop. Get a bunch of lads or girls or whatever who are on the same page and just push. It's going to be hard. You're going to have setbacks. Like we had a fucking pandemic to go through and we still survived as a band. Just keep going. And then eventually it'll happen. You'll build up your name, you'll build up your reputation by being professional and just putting out good material. And that's it. Because the moment you give up, it's like anything else. It's like if you're like, I'm a martial artist. The minute if you step onto the mat and you're like, I'm not going to win, you're not going to win. You step on the mat going, I'm going to fucking win, you're going to break someone's nose and they're going to give you a medal for it. And that's what happens.
yeah, it's all about mindset. And I think, something really important that you touched on that I don't think we've touched on like through this conversation, like it's really important to I guess define what you want the band to be. And it doesn't have to be we're gonna sell fucking arenas. In my mind, that baseline should always be let's play music that we enjoy
Yep.
and give it our best. Like that, there should
That's
be,
where,
in
but
my
that's where it
mind, there's nothing else,
No, man, that's where it has to be. Because look, a band is a mix between like a job and a hobby and all the other things. But if you don't enjoy it, then what's the point? If you're going out
Yeah.
there and playing stuff that you hate, like I've done that. Like that's the thing. I've been in bands since I was 16, 14 actually, and I've done that. So when I set up Horrenda, it was my thing. So I set the rules as being if I don't enjoy it, then it's not happening. And I've been very lucky to be in a band with all the lads who are on the same page. It's very easy to tour with Mark and the lads because we all like to hang out with each other. It'd be very difficult being around them all the time if we're like, get away from me. So, and you have to enjoy it. And then, like, the crowd is super into it. They pick up on how authentic we are. They connect with the music. Some people even come and saying, Horrenda, connects with me in this way. And I'm like, wow, that's unreal. Like, I never thought that would happen. People sing back the chords of Slua, which is weird. That's a weird thing to hear. So like, yeah, man, look, and that all comes because like our goal isn't to sell out arenas, as you said. It's to go out and put on the best show that we can for as many people as we can, not for money or anything like that, just so people can hear it. That is our
Yeah.
goal.
Awesome. And I think so. I was just talking to a buddy's band, I guess about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't even fucking know. Time is like anymore.
Yeah, what
But
is time? Right.
right?
yeah,
They played a show and like I'm watching the band and it was the first time that I can remember seeing them. I've probably seen them 20 times at least. But I'm watching them and it's the first time that I remember seeing a smile on the entire fucking on every face on stage. Everyone was like, "Oh my God." And it was the first time the vocalist ever like
Bro
stuck a
character.
fucking yeah, like
Yeah.
he like throws the microphone in the crowd's face and they're singing. And I talked to him afterwards, like, "Hey dude, like what was that about?" He goes, "Dude, it's the first time that I can remember like looking out and seeing the entire crowd singing back to me and singing the right fucking words." I'm like,
It's surreal.
mm,
Yeah, it's a
mm,
surreal experience when when that happens because you're like, well, okay, there's a couple of ones. We're not there yet. Hopefully, we will be someday. But it's weird to walk into a place and everyone or most people are wearing Horrenda t-shirts and we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And you're like, and
Yeah,
and
that's true.
that's funny. They don't know us either because like when we don't wear the paint, we look like this, so we look like a bunch of dorks. Like, it's mad. Like, and you're like, wow, these people genuinely are here to see the band, and it's a surreal experience because in your head you're still like, oh, yeah, nobody really likes this band or anything like that, but you're like, no, they do, and to be honest with you, Tom, that's an Irish mindset. That's the thing you have to overcome. The Irish thing where Irish people can't take compliments or anything like
Dude,
that, you know?
listen, I don't think that's an Irish thing. I think it's like across the board because it's the same way here. It's
Hmm.
the same way with bands in England and other parts of Europe. It's, I think it's almost like that. It's the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
For
like
sure.
I
Yeah.
know everyone's here to see me, but they're not really here to see, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, that's why when we walked into Siege and people were shaking my hand going, congratulations, you headline, and we're like, ah, no, sure, nobody will be here. And then you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, the place is packed, because in our head, as we were even walking on, we're like, oh, yeah, sure, everyone will leave. And it's like, no, the place was absolutely jam-packed. So the imposter
Such a
syndrome didn't
drunk
go
as
away
well.
until
Yeah.
like the third song. And then we're like, okay, let's do this. And then we did it, like, so.
Mm.
Hell yeah. So like the third song is where you guys like found your groove for the rest of the fucking set.
That's usually when we do, yeah. Like we usually lock in around the second or third song, and that's when the set gets really. That's when we amp it up fully. Yeah,
Fuck yeah. Mark, you're not saying anything over there. You're just a pretty face. Like, what's going on?
I'm just trying to add in.
I talk a lot.
Um,
Sorry.
no, well, like what Dara said, like when we play on stage, like the first few songs, or even up to Dialtis in the set list, is kind of like a nice warm up for the crowd. And then by the time Dialtis come on, everybody's starting to move around. And then after that, we start putting on another fast song and start amplifying it. So we're kind of like, we just kind of warm the candle into a bonfire, basically, if you want to say it.
I like that
Yeah.
too.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
nice to just throw gas on that fucking candle.
Let it just go ablaze. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh
Helps that our
shit.
singer. It helps that our singer tries to fight everybody. That helps a lot.
You're entering his playground, so
Yeah.
you want to be careful with him.
I'll end on this story. A couple of years ago, we played a smaller venue in Dublin called Fibbers. It's where any metal band, any rock band that's Irish has played Fibbers. And we told this girl to move before we started playing. We're like, look, don't walk across the venue. It will be bad. And she just didn't believe us. About 10 minutes later, we're like two songs in, and she walks in carrying like 4 pints, and they
Yeah.
just go everywhere. Because I think she walked into a wall of death. And I was just like, yeah, you were told. You were told not to do it. And I'll never forget,
Oh, God.
she just looks up at the stage and we're like, yeah, that's why there was space because it was a wall of death.
Similar
So
happened in Cork as well, actually, when we were supporting the crawling. This was a good 3 years ago. And I was literally standing behind and the pit was going mental. And some guy was on my left side coming up with 3 pints of Heineken. And then some guy in the back started smacking him and it went all over me. I'm like, well, there you go. So it does happen. You just
It
know
does
it.
happen. Yeah,
well, you go to a metal show, you expect to get beer spilled on you. At least most of
Exactly.
us
Yeah.
expect that, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the singer doesn't turn into GG Allin and start like throwing shit at the fucking
To be
crowd.
no,
Oh,
to
well,
be fair, it's one of the guy from Dillinger Escape Plan and GG Allin are one of his big influences. So we'll see.
that's very encouraging of you now, Tom.
We'll see.
Listen, if he starts throwing shit, I need video of the first time he fucking does it. I just like that's
He does have a bit of control because he said to me just before we started playing in Siege, he's like, I really want to climb, but I don't want to get our set cut short.
Oh, yeah.
So at least he has the awareness to not ruin the set, unlike GG Allen,
Oh,
who
goodness.
had no
last
control at
song.
all.
Last
That's
song,
last
pants
song.
come off, shit's flying. Like,
Oh
let's
man,
do it.
we'll mention it to him later.
Yeah, exactly, actually. Might
Uh,
write it down as a note for later.
last song. It has to be the last song, like the last 30 seconds. That's it.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's easy.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Okay. I know, like, I know we didn't have a lot of time today. So both of
Right.
you, again, I fucking appreciate your time. I've had a
Absolutely.
lot of fun
Thank you, sir.
chatting with you both.
Thank you, Tom.
Hell yeah. You guys go. Have a great day.
Later, man.
Cheers.
Bye
Thank
bye
you,
bye.
Tom.
See ya.
See you now.